Hello, I'm Gord Gray. I am a congregant here at Orleans United Church, and about 2 months ago I was involved in a service involving a skit related to caregivers as part of the Healthy End of Life project.
And my name is Ann Gallant, and I am a community facilitator with the Healthy End of Life project. I work out of one of our sister sites, the Southeast Ottawa Community Health Centre, and we're here at the Orleans United Church to talk about the recent help service that was put on here at OUC. I think in your skit, you really portrayed somebody who was really struggling to ask for help, saying, I can do this, but it's a lot, but I can do this, but I'm tired. And so I think that's probably something that a lot of people struggle with as caregivers, that feeling of guilt for asking for help and accepting help that's offered. And so I'm wondering how, was that an important piece that you were trying to get through in the skit that you were putting on?
Absolutely. In my own experience and in dealing with people who are caregivers and in challenging situations, I always ask, how are you doing? It's an easy way to start a conversation. And the answer is always, okay. Mm-hmm. And I always know it's a lie. It's not okay. It's hard. It's challenging. It is mind-numbing. Mm-hmm. It is so difficult. But okay is always the answer. So I tried to get further into it. Well, are you eating all right? How's your sleeping? And whatever, because those are symptoms of challenge. And hopefully that came across. Mm-hmm. I know there's at least one person post-service who came up to me and said, nailed it. She went through every single thing that we touched on, basically the wrong way, as I did, as a lot of caregivers do, because of the guilt, because I don't want to be seen to be weak. Well, you're not weak. You're doing a heck of a job, but it can be done easier.
Yeah,
just by reaching out.
There's no crash course about how to be a caregiver. People are just flung into this situation.
Yes.
And so that opportunity to connect with others who have been through similar experiences, understanding that every situation is unique, can be so powerful and important.
Yes.
And so how did you feel after doing that role play in the service? Well,
I had a number of people say it seemed to go well, which made me feel great. My wife was very doting on me afterwards, almost, because she thought it went very well. And I felt good that we did something important. Mm-hmm. At least I view it as important. I hope others did as well.
Yeah, and so I was very moved by the role play and by the service in general. And so I'm wondering, do you feel that the help service, so the role play as well as the full service, helped people, caregivers in particular, to better understand how to navigate some of the stressors that are, come with being a caregiver?
I'm not certain about how to navigate the stressors, but an acknowledgement and an identity that there are stressors and these are what they can be. Mm-hmm. And you need to be aware of that. Mm-hmm. So I suppose in a sense, just acknowledgement of them and understanding them will help navigate.
Yeah.
Or I certainly hope so.
And do you feel that other congregations might benefit from doing a similar type of service which focuses on caregivers and the resources that are available and that message that there is support, you're not alone, this is something that is unfortunately quite normal to have to navigate for many people? Do you feel that other congregations might benefit from?
Without question. Without question. There are always caregivers in any community, organization, faith group, whatever. And they need to know what's available, and they need to hopefully realize other people are there for you. You don't need to do it yourself. And asking for and accepting help is not weakness. I think that's most important.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if you have any other personal anecdotes that you'd like to share, no pressure, but if there are other examples of when you've struggled to ask for help in the past, or accept help when it's been offered to you, or when you've accepted help and it's made a big difference. Are there any pieces that you might be able to speak to?
When my wife was ill, I was in the Navy. And about 6 weeks before she passed, there was an officer whose father had passed away, and he was looking for people to be honorary pallbearers for his father. And nobody came along. Finally, I said, well, I'll do that. I mean, the Navy's been so good to me, I have to repay in some way. And my late wife was very ill at the time, but very supportive that that's a good thing to do. So I went and I did this, and the commander of the Navy was at the funeral. And he came up to me. He was astounded that I would be there for it. And over the next few weeks, he would come down to my cubicle every so often, and he'd say, like, the commander of the Navy coming to nobody's cubicle,
Right.
and saying, Gord, how are you doing? Knowing full well I was lying when I said okay.
Yeah.
And he'd say, what is the Navy not doing that we could be doing for you? And
Wow.
there wasn't much the Navy wasn't doing, I assure you. They were amazing.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a primary example. It was fabulous. I knew that I was supported, and I knew that my family was supported, my 2 children.
Yeah.
So that was very reassuring.
Yeah, very powerful, reassuring, and so comforting to know that at least you're being watched. Well, at least you're in someone's mind.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that story. I'm wondering, jumping back to the help service, if there is a message or something that you hope that people took away from that service.
You're doing a good job. We know it's a hard job. We are there to help in any way possible.
Yeah.
But they have to be willing to accept that.
And that's so hard.
It is.
Yeah.
Hopefully it worked.
Hopefully it worked.
Hopefully we resonated.
Yeah, well, it resonated with me, that's for sure. It was really powerful, so.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you wanted to share?
Nothing I can think of, frankly.
Okay.